Adam here with the Walser Automotive Group, and what I want to do today is take you on a test drive. So next to me, I have the all-new 2026 Hyundai Palisade. We'll look at the interior, the exterior, some of the trim level specifics, then go for a spin around, see what it's like out on the road. All right, now we're behind the wheel of the 2026 Hyundai Palisade, and this is going to be the SEL Convenience all-wheel drive. So there is a lot of different trim levels, so it can get a little bit confusing, but this is going to be kind of even one of the lower tier trim levels, but there's so much great equipment in here. I was amazed when looking at the lineup how much cool stuff you can really get in this new Palisade, so we'll cover what changed and what some of that equipment is. Now, let's begin with what the big difference is for 26. Obviously on the exterior, they made this vehicle completely different. So you're gonna find that it's a little bit longer and a little bit wider. Not a whole lot, but you do notice a little bit more interior cabin space. Now from there, there's a few new trim levels like the XRT Pro. So that's gonna be a little bit more off-road focused. So one thing they added into this model, which is a little bit more kind of outdoorsy focused, you've got your drive modes and then your terrain modes. So now you've got snow, mud, and sand. So if you are finding yourself in a little bit of a pickle, or you're trying to dial in your fine-tuned driving style, that is a pretty cool way to do it, and it's right here on the fly. Now, there's going to be a gas V6 engine option, or now for the first time in the Palisade, there's going to be a hybrid powertrain option. So if we're looking at the gas engine on this particular one, it's a 3.5 liter V6, and that's going to be paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. I was blown away when I was on the road just how smooth, quiet, and comfortable this is. If you didn't know what this vehicle is and someone threw you the keys, you'd probably think you were in some sort of German luxury SUV. It's extremely quiet, extremely smooth, and I think the hybrid powertrain will only increase that drivability as well as comfort. So a few other things we'll touch on safety in a little bit, but just know that there's now 10 airbags found in the Palisade. Obviously for a family vehicle, you're gonna wanna make sure you're safe, and the Hyundai Safety Suite gives you so much great equipment as standard. Again, when we're on the road, we'll look at some of that stuff, but really the big changes are gonna be pretty much everything. The outgoing Palisade was pretty awesome. I think that came out in 2020, but this is a very competitive market right now with these third row SUVs, and this Palisade definitely might be one to add to the list you're gonna wanna look at. So for now, let's put it in drive. We'll go for a spin around. So how do you put it in drive? There's actually a little gear selector just behind the steering wheel here. That's also where you're going to find your engine start stop button, how to put it into reverse and park. Once you figure it out, you realize how nice it is to free up all this interior space. There's a huge empty space here. This one's got the little Palisade books down below. You can throw your purse, your backpack almost down here. There's that much room. And then it gives you this great cup holder area as well as a little bit of added storage. But let's begin really with the exterior, because the style and design language is kind of moving more towards Hyundai's future. If you've seen the Kona or some of the electric vehicles that Hyundai offers, it's got this really unique design language. I love the front end of the vehicle. It has such a bold stance and statement, and then the rest of the vehicle almost has kind of a Range Rover look to it. Not that Hyundai's copying other luxury SUVs, but in this segment, you kind of need something that stands out, and I think the Palisade looks amazing from the exterior. Now, this SEL Convenience does get the 18-inch wheels, so there's a bunch of different wheel options, whether it's that new XRT Pro that's going to have the off-road focused wheels, or if you're going up to kind of the higher tier trim levels, there's lots of pretty cool options and a few cool colors you can select from as well. Now let's kind of put our foot down here with this 8-speed. It does get up and move pretty good. You know, it's so smooth. I cannot say enough how much that blew me away. It's crazy how nice these vehicles are and their road manners and behavior. I mean, there's so much safety built into these vehicles, but if you don't want some of it, it's very easy to turn it off. You just go right into the settings and turn some of that stuff off. But having the ability to have that kind of lane departure mitigation system, the adaptive cruise control, there's a digital gauge cluster in here. And so when you go over to that third screen, you can actually see the lines in the road. And if someone's hiding kind of in your blind spot, so you have the mirror notification up here, and then as well on that digital gauge cluster, it's also gonna show you kind of a little red light. Unfortunately, I don't really wanna get a video of it because I wanna be paying attention to the road. And that's really where the Hyundai also helps you out. It wants to make sure you're focused on the road. So they've also given you wireless charging as well as wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I paired my phone in about 15 seconds. Google Maps, Spotify, text messaging, it's all built into this infotainment display, and it is lightning fast. It is so easy to use, one swipe away, and you've also got voice controls. So on the right side of the steering wheel, you can press and hold that button. It'll pop up Siri. It makes it so easy to use everything when you're on the go. We know sometimes when you get the kiddos in the back, it might be a little loud and it's a little hard to pay attention, but just knowing all that safety stuff is here with you, it is such a great safety feature to have. I can't say enough good things about it and how non-intrusive it really is. You don't need it until it absolutely needs to be working, and that's really kind of goes a long way with a lot of the new safety in these vehicles. Hyundai's just done such an excellent job. It's definitely something to look forward to when driving this vehicle. Now, speaking again of the kiddos in the back, so this comes standard as an 8-passenger or a 7-passenger vehicle with the captain's chairs. So depending on which trim level you're looking at, there's a few different options there. But the third row, like I said, I think it's about 2.7 inches longer, the wheelbase from the outgoing Palisade. So you do notice some of that interior cabin space when I crawled into the third row. There's USB-C charging back there. You've got cup holders. There's also power folding seats. So depending on which trim level you're looking at, this one can power fold the second row. Or if you go into the second row, there's 2 different ways to fold and kind of slide the seats forward with the press of a button. Now, obviously you got the little kiddos, it's kind of fun. They've got a low down button you can push and slide forward, or there's a handle you can grab, pull, and then that will actually fold the seat flat. Or there's one up on the armrest. So if it's adults or kids getting into the vehicle, there's 2 ways that does make it pretty simple. Now in that third row, like I said, I'm 6'1". Typically, a third row is not where I want to be. But with the Palisade, I was pretty surprised just how much room you have. No, I wouldn't want to spend all day back there, but if you got the kids, you're doing a short trip, putting 7 passengers in here, it would get a little tight. But I think maybe if you've got 4 or 6, the kids got their friends along, they're going to be more than comfortable and happy in the back. Now in the second row, they've also changed the new climate control system. So it's going to be mounted up above on the roof, so it's pretty cool. That's one of those nice little touch points to the new Palisade. Even the vent in the back feels very upscale. It's got a nice feel to it, a nice look to it. There's USB-C charging in the back of these seats as well that they've kept, which I absolutely love, because if you're going on a road trip and the kids can't keep everything charged up and there's not 100 ways to do it, it's going to be a bad time. But really, that second row is pretty comfortable. And as you work your way up through the different trim levels, you can add heated seats back there, all sorts of great equipment, and tons of great ways for everybody in the car to be nice and comfortable. Now, enough about the family. What about you driving the vehicle? Like I said, it is so quiet in here. I'm so excited to drive the hybrid version because this V6 is so smooth. I mean, it is really impressive just how much power and it really is impressive just how much power you get out of this vehicle, how smooth it is on the road, and just how it eats up all these terrible roads. It's the middle of road construction season here in Minnesota as we're usually fighting, but I mean, it doesn't even care about these road joists or the potholes or all the stuff you usually have to deal with. It makes it so nice to just take a load off. Maybe if you're leaving work, picking up the kids, you're stressed out, you're not having that added stress while you're in the Palisade because it's so comfortable. Now, we know it's summertime here, but when winter comes back around, there's actually a remote start built into the key fob, and then we've also got heated seats in this particular model. So it is going to make it very comfortable to tackle those Minnesota winters. Now, from there, speaking of these seats, I always thought Nissan had some of the most comfortable seats out right now, but these are very competitive when looking at those. There's just the perfect amount of bolster for me. The amount of padding is great in here. You could eat up so many miles in these seats. I love these. These might be some of my new favorites when looking, especially at the third row SUV market. It's just such a great, comfortable place to be. Like I said, maybe you're going on a road trip, maybe you're just kind of running around day to day. It's so nice. It is so nice in here. I know it's very, very hard to show that on camera just how comfortable the seats are, but even as you work your way up through the trim levels, adding the ventilated seats in here, you can get a leather-wrapped heated steering wheel. There's a bunch of cool interior options as well. It's just a lot of great stuff in here. And then on the steering wheel here, the left side kind of goes through that digital gauge cluster, but it's not overcomplicated. There's not 600 menus to go through. There's 3 main menus. You can kind of scroll up and down, whether you're looking at kind of your all-wheel drive, seeing where the power is going, or you can just kind of keep track of your trip computer and that sort of stuff. Just makes it really simple. And then on the full infotainment screen here, I believe that's a 12.3-inch display. That's going to give you, like I said, that CarPlay in there. Or there's also built-in navigation. The menu is really easy to use if you're not pairing your phone with that. So there's lots of cool stuff in there that just makes it, like I said, really simple for day-to-day life. Below that, we've got a few different physical buttons, so you can click the map button to pull that up right away. There's also a camera button. So I'm at a stoplight here, and if I press the camera button, maybe I'm trying to see if someone's like near me, or if I can't see out in front of you. You can have the front camera on some of the higher up tier trim levels. That is pretty cool. The kids left some stuff in the driveway. You just want to double check even before you put it into reverse. That's pretty nice there. And then, like I said, that new drive mode select. So you can go between the different drive modes or the terrain modes. You've got like an eco, normal, sport, and then you can kind of fine tune a my drive in there. And then if the winter comes around, maybe you're trying to get out of a busy kind of parking lot or an alley. There's lots of different ways you can set that terrain mode to help you out in a pinch. So we have to touch on the price of the vehicle. Now, this SEL convenience with the H-Track or the all-wheel drive system is going to come in at about $46,800 for the MSRP. Now, it starts a little bit lower than this, maybe kind of the low $40,000 price range. And if you load up all the equipment, MSRP is going to get a little bit above the $60,000 price range. So when we're looking at the average new car price right now in the US at over $49,000, this particular one coming in at a couple grand less than that, giving you a lot of equipment is very impressive. The sound system in here is great, and you can even upgrade further from here. The sunroof in here is super nice. All the technology and equipment you're getting in here. I mean, there's a lot to like about this Palisade. I've always liked the Hyundai SUVs, but this one just goes above and beyond with the comfort and all the luxury and technology in here. If you were looking for that family SUV, I think the best thing to do is get out, get behind the wheel, pop the power liftgate open, fold the seats down. I mean, it's a 60-40 split third row, and you can just easily fold it, load all the stuff up. There's even underfloor storage. It just goes on and on and on the list for this, and all the luxury touch points. Even things like the frameless rear view mirror, there's just great little luxury touch points all through the vehicle. Especially at this price point, I think it's absolutely one to add to the list. Come out and take for a spin and see what you think. Now, that was just a quick look and drive at the 2026 Hyundai Palisade. Now, if you have any other questions or you'd like to schedule a test drive, you can visit us online at walser.com or stop by anytime. We'd be more than happy to help. Thanks again for watching.